Hi everyone, it's Megan from Gingerbread Mama, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but there's a lot of misconceptions around being a stay-at-home mom and what we do. A lot of people think that we are lazy or that we don't feel like working, maybe we're not qualified to work, that we sit at home on the couch all day and that we do nothing but shop and just have a life of luxury. Well, that's certainly maybe the case for some, but that's definitely not the case for all. And, everyone has a different reason for staying home with their kids. Some, that was their plan from the beginning, to have kids and stay home with them and be there to raise them. Some people, they had different things going on and it just happened that they ended up staying home. My situation, I originally started staying home with my kids because I was full-time, actually more than full-time, at a hospital, and the extra hours that I was pulling and everything else that was going on in our life, we were going through a rough patch. It really started to take a toll on me, and my depression took a deep nosedive. So I ended up taking a leave of absence from work, and during that leave of absence, I discovered that I loved staying home with my kids, and that they gave me more reason to get up in the morning and kind of helped me through that depression. On top of that, we had a major move during that time, and so it made my commute to work more than double what it was. So it became that it was almost not worth it for me to go to work because I'd be spending twice as much in gas, would have needed to find different childcare, and it was just going to be a much more expensive situation. So the best option was for me to stay at home with the kids, and let me tell you, I am so happy that that is what happened. It really has changed my entire life, and my respect for people that do stay at home with their kids has gone through the roof, because I realized that everybody thinks that it's a life of luxury and that you shop all day and you lounge around the house and that you've got it super easy. That's not the case at all. Definitely not a lazy job. If you want to stay at home with your kids because you think it's going to be easier, you're wrong. Sure, we're not working outside of the house, but I'm definitely still working. I don't bring in a paycheck, but I help save money because we're not spending hundreds of dollars on childcare. We're not spending hundreds of dollars on gas and extra lunches. And hi, Milo. This is my dog, Milo, that you see here at the bottom. He felt the need to photobomb me, I guess. But staying home is still work, and it's definitely not for somebody who wants to be lazy. If you want to be lazy, you better pay somebody else to watch your kids, because it's work. Children are a job. Childcare is astronomically priced, and I understand that the care workers, they need to make a living, but for those of us who don't make a whole lot to begin with, it makes it difficult and in some cases impractical to work. At my previous job, had I stayed there, I probably would have been bringing home $50 or $100 a week after paying for childcare and gas and everything else to go with working. So it really didn't make much sense for me. And on top of that, it really opened things up for my kids, because although cost was an issue, if they wanted to do an activity, there was more opportunity for them to be able to do that because I could take them to it. With my middle guy living across the state, it really makes it difficult for me to have a standard job, because I need to be able to leave early on certain days to go get him or take him back, and if I have to work weekends, I need to finagle that. So it really makes it difficult to find something that we'll work around that schedule. Now, at the hospital, I was able to kind of base my schedule off of it because I was working 7 days a week. So if I needed to leave early one day, I could just work an earlier shift, and it did work out. But it is definitely easier not having to stress about whether or not I'm going to get home in time to drive across the state to get him. So that is definitely a plus. Childcare, there needs to be a better solution. There needs to be some sort of better assistance for people who want to work. I would love to work, but it's just not a practical thing. And with every day you're hearing something new about horror stories about things that happen in a daycare or with a babysitter, and people getting sick from their babysitter or other kids. And so sometimes it just makes a lot more sense to stay home with your kids. And it's definitely not an easy choice to decide I'm not going back to work, but it was also a very rewarding choice. And for all of the working moms out there, I don't want you to think that I disrespect you at all. I have the utmost respect for you, because for the first 8 years of me being a mother, I worked, and I stressed about how I was going to juggle the house and the kids and the job. And I understand that struggle, and it ultimately brought me to my knees with my depression. So I applaud you if you're able to balance all of that and not feel like your world is crumbling at the end of the day. But to those of you who have chosen to stay home with your kids, or maybe that was your plan all along, I commend you as well, because it is definitely a hard thing too. And a lot of the time people think, well, she wanted the easy way out. She didn't want to go to college. That's not the case. A lot of stay-at-home moms chose their children over their career. They chose to, after college, stay home with the kids. A lot of stay-at-home moms have degrees and a lot of knowledge, and they're very intelligent, but they chose to stay home for whatever reason with their kids instead. So just remember that either side is not necessarily easier, and that if you're working, it doesn't mean that you don't love your kids any more than a mom that stays home with them. And if you see a stay-at-home mom, don't think that she's taking the easy way out either, because both are very difficult. And they each have their perks and they each have their downfalls. So just remember to have a little grace on each other. If you like my videos, please give them a big thumbs up. Also, make sure that you comment. Tell me your story. Tell me why you stay at home, or why you have chosen to not stay at home. And let's kind of make a conversation about this and open up some dialogue. Subscribe to my channel if you like my videos, and share it with other people that you feel would like to hear this, or maybe need to hear this. There's no such thing as a cookie cutter life. Good night.